Welcome to today's video. In this video, I'm going to look at a question on angles, and this is the question which is on the screen. So I'm going to look at this question which is on the screen. So the question was, find the value of angles marked by letters. So students were asked to find the value of angles marked by letters. Now, when you look at the diagram here, when you look at the triangle and the parallel lines drawn below, you can see that they have got angles which are represented by letters. Like you can see there is A, B, C, and X there. Those letters, they stand for angles. Their values are given as, they are not given, and they are represented by the letters. So students were asked to find the values of these letters. So as you can see on this question, there's only one angle which is given, which is 80 degrees. It's the only one which is given. So as a student, you need to study the diagram carefully so that you see exactly which angles are given and what is their value. And you also understand the diagram given so that you can be able to find the questions, the answers correctly. So in here, as you can see, when we start this diagram given together, you may see that here we can see an isosceles triangle. And in fact, you can come up with two isosceles triangle. The one that ends on the first line where there is B and C, and there is another one which stretches up to where there is 80 degrees. So these are two isosceles triangle. So you need to understand also the features of an isosceles triangle. And then you can also see that down here we're given two parallel lines, as you can see. So you need to understand the properties of angles formed by two parallel lines crossed by a transversal line. Okay, once you have got you have identified the parts that are forming this diagram, then you can go ahead and find the angles. So I'm going to look at this diagram and study where the weakness is, or what I mean is I'm going to check where I can start from. Okay, so you can't just start from anywhere. There is a point where I can start from, so you need to find where you can start from. So for you to be able to identify where you can start from, you need to understand, you need to know the properties of angles which are formed by two parallel lines crossed by a transversal line, as well as also knowing the angles of the angles formed, or the angles which are found in an isosceles triangle. Since this diagram consists of two parallel lines and the isosceles triangle. So I'm going to use the angles that are formed by parallel lines which are crossed by a transversal line. Okay, so I'm going to use that the properties of parallel lines crossed by a transversal line. So here I'm able to identify that these are two parallel lines because of those arrows which have circled in light blue ink. Those are telling me that these two lines are parallel lines because of those two arrows that are showing that these are parallel lines. Now, when I have identified that these are parallel lines, now I can look at 80 degrees, the angle which is given, which is 80 degrees. So which property can I use to start from this 80 degrees in order for me to find A, B, C, or for me to find the angles A, B, C, as well as X? So the angle, the property I can use here is corresponding angles. So when I use the property of corresponding angles, I will be able to find the angle B. I cannot use alternate angles because C, the transversal that is making the angle C, and the transversal line that is making the angle, that's making the angle 80 degrees is different. This one is the one which is forming the angle B is slanting on the right side, slanting towards the right hand side of the screen, and the one which is forming the angle C is slanting towards the angle which is towards the left side. Okay, so that means the angles will be different. Okay, as you can see, so since that we cannot use that, because of that we're going to use 80 degrees to find B, and the property I'm going to use is corresponding angles are equal. Okay, corresponding angles are equal, meaning B corresponds to 80 degrees. Now the property is saying corresponding angles are equal. That means B corresponds to 80 degrees. Now why are we saying that? We are saying that B corresponds 80 degrees because B and 80 degrees, they are occupying the same position in different angles. Okay, so that means we're going to say B is equal to 80 degrees because corresponding angles are equal. That means B is equal to 80 degrees because B corresponds 80 degrees. Okay, now we're going to find C. Okay, so I'm going to demarcate there. Once I've done that, then I'm going to look at the property I can use. Now, as you can see, we have found the value of B. So we have found that the angle B is 80 degrees. Now I want to find the C. So as I said earlier on, ABC is forming, the angles ABC, they are forming the isosceles triangle. Now isosceles triangle has got two sides which are equal. Two sides are equal, therefore they form the base angles which are equal. So two sides are equal in isosceles triangle and they form the base angles which are equal. Therefore we can use this rule to find C by saying interior base angles in isosceles triangle are equal. Interior base angles in isosceles triangle are equal. Therefore we can say C is equal to B because angle B and angle C are base angles of this triangle. Therefore they form we are saying angle C is equal to angle B. So if angle B is 80 degrees, that means C will also be 80 degrees. Therefore we can say C is equal to 80 degrees because the angles, the base angles in this isosceles triangle, which are B and C, are equal. Therefore C is also 80 degrees. Okay, now we have found the base angles which are B and C are all 80 degrees. Now what we are remaining with is the angle A. Okay, now since we are remaining with angle A inside the isosceles triangle, so that means we're going to say which property can we use to find the value of angle A? Which property can we use to find the value of angle A? Okay, we can use a property which is interior angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. Interior angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. This means that when we add angle A plus angle B plus angle C should give us 180 degrees. So the total sum of interior angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. So we can write that, we can come up with an expression which is A plus B plus C is equal to 180 degrees. Okay, so now we have A, we have B, and we have C, and we want to find the value of A. That means A, we have not yet known the value of A, and that's what we want to find. So we're going to write A plus what is the value of B, and we're going to get the value of B from our first working, which we found B is equal to 80 degrees. So we're going to say A plus 80 degrees plus C, which is also 80 degrees. So A plus 80 degrees, and this first 80 degrees is the value of angle B, which is, now we're going to say plus what is the angle C, what is the value of angle C is 80 degrees as well. So going to say plus 80 degrees. Remember, base angles in isosceles triangle are equal. Then we're going to say A plus 80 degrees plus 80 degrees is equal to 180 degrees. Okay, now 180 degrees, that is the sum of angles in a triangle. Then we are going to write, we're not going to find the sum of 80 degrees plus 80 degrees. So we're going to write A plus, now 80 degrees plus 80 degrees will give us 160 degrees. 80 degrees plus 80 degrees will give us 180 degrees. Okay, which will be equal to 180 degrees. So 80 plus 80 degrees will give us 160 degrees, and we are going to have an expression which is A plus 160 degrees, which is equal to 180 degrees. At this stage, what we're going to do is we're going to put like terms together. So we're going, as you can see, A plus 160 degrees, A is not a like term of 160 degrees. Therefore, we're going to write A is equal to 180 degrees. Then this 160 degrees will cross the equal sign and become minus. So it's going to be A is equal to 180 degrees minus 160 degrees. Okay, so we're going to say A is equal to, so 180 minus 160 degrees will give us 20 degrees. So the value of the angle A is 20 degrees. Okay, now we have found all the interior angles of the triangle. The next thing we're going to do is now we're going to find the value of angle X, the value of angle X. So we need to find the value of X in that diagram. Okay, so I'm going to demarcate here as well. So what property can we use to find the value of X? The property we're going to use to find the value of X is the exterior angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of interior opposite angles. The exterior angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of interior opposite angles. Now, in this case, the opposite interior angles of X are angle A and angle B. Angle A and angle B are interior opposite angles of exterior angle X. Okay, so that is A and B are the interior opposite angles of angle X. So we are told that the exterior angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of interior opposite angles. So that means when we add A plus B should give us the value of X. So we are saying X is equal to, okay, I'll use Y there. Okay, then I'm going to say Y is equal to, Y is standing for X, Y is standing for X. Okay, so we're saying Y is equal to A plus B. So A plus B is equal to X. So the value of angle X there is equal to the sum of A plus B. Now in that case, when I was preparing, I used Y instead of X. So viewers, take note that where there is Y, Y is standing for X. Okay, once I've done that, then I'm going to replace the values of A and B so that I can find the actual value of angle X. Okay, so we can say Y is equal to, what is the value of angle A? We found that angle A is equal to 20 degrees. So we're going to say Y is equal to 20 degrees, then plus, what is the angle of B? The value of angle B is 80 degrees. As you can see in our first working, we found that B is equal to 80 degrees. So we're going to say 20 plus 80 degrees, which we're going to say Y is equal to 20 degrees plus 80 degrees will give us 100 degrees. So the value of angle X there, which I remind you viewers, I said when I was preparing, I used Y instead of X. So Y stands for angle X. So I'm saying the value of angle X there is equal to 100 degrees. Okay, now if you try to put these angles, these degrees we have gotten for each angle, you find that even when you look at C and X, when you use the property of angles on the straight line, you find that since C has the value of 80 degrees and while X has got the degrees which are 100 degrees, that means when you add 80 degrees plus 100 degrees, they'll give you 180 degrees. So even when you use a different property to verify whether we have gotten the correct answers, you'll find that they also give you the correct answers. So that's another way you can try to prove whether the answers you have gotten are correct. You can still try to apply different properties. If they give you the same answers, that means your answers are correct. The only thing you need to take note of is that when you are in an exam, you are trying to solve the question on angles, try to check all the properties and see a property that will enable you to find the answer for that angle just by using one property. I know I can use different properties to get these answers, but I was just getting those properties that can help me to work it once and get the answer so that you beat time. Otherwise, even if you use different properties such that you work it out maybe 3 times, as long as the final answer is correct, markers will give you a mark. Okay, so basically this is how you answer questions on angles using properties of angles. If you have got questions, you can ask them in the comment section. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. It has been easy learning Z Mathematics. The future is bright. See you in the next video and God bless you.